Jack and Coke, two icons of the drinks world, combined to create a staple of college parties and dive bars. Not really something you'd expect to see on cocktail menus of craft cocktail bars, right? But they will change that, with a mixology version of this easy-to-make, easy-to-drink cocktail from the American South. If this sounds like a fun concept, you came to the right channel. Make sure you subscribe below, with the bell icon turned on, so you'll get notified every time a new episode drops. Now let's start.
It's cocktail time!
Before we elevate anything, we first need to try the original version. The beauty of this Coca-Cola highball, as it was called in the beginning, is the simplicity of the preparation. So let's talk about the history of it as a whip it up. Both of these iconic brands were launched in the second part of the 1800s in the American South. The combination of both was first documented in 1907 by an employee of the United States Bureau of Chemistry and Soils, who came across the drink during a visit to the region, noting it was called the Coca-Cola highball. Interestingly, if you were to add bitters to this mix, you'd have a Lemmy, named after the legendary frontman of Motorhead, Lemmy Kilmister, who was known for his love of Jack and Coke. If you want to garnish this classic Jack and Coke, you can do so with a lemon slice or a maraschino cherry. Even without those, we have a sweet and fizzy sipper, mixing the woody and vanilla flavors of whiskey with the caramel and spice notes of cola. It's simple, refreshing, and easy to enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you make it the same way. But why does this simple pairing work so well? Jack Daniel's is quite spicy. It has flavors of vanilla, caramel, lots of oak, and some fruitiness like bananas. Cola with its spices, vanilla and caramel sweetness, enriches and ties all those flavors together. So I figured elevating this two-ingredient cocktail and giving a bit more balance and depth of flavor would be fun. After playing around with the recipe a bit, here are the ingredients I ended up with to make the cocktail I'm calling Jack, Where's the Coke? That's because we'll have Coke flavor, but none of the Coke. Instead of the old number 7, we'll use Jack Daniel's single barrel, but Gentleman Jack would be a great option as well. We already made this DIY Kola Liqueur. We'll also add maraschino cherry syrup, lemon, and of course saline solution. But we still need to make soda water from smoky tea. And to crown the cocktail, cola flavored foam from Cola Gummy Candy. As mentioned, no cans of Coke will be opened to make today's cocktail. Let's make these two ingredients. The tools I'll be using will all be linked below, but you don't need all of them to make the cola foam. An easy siphon with nitrous oxide cartridges is key, but for carbonating our smoky soda, you can use any of these three tools. A sparkling water maker, I'll be using the 𝗡𝗲𝘄𝗃 carbonator, the Easy Twist and Sparkle, or the Easy Soda siphon with the CO2 cartridges. For the prep work, I like to use my trusted scales, glass measuring set, and a magnetic stirrer. Again, optional, but pretty cool. If you remember my rum old-fashioned with Coca-Cola foam episode, you'll know we started off differently, by adding Coca-Cola, oak, and a few other ingredients. It was a part of a winning cocktail for a cocktail competition I competed in. Here we'll need just two things: cola-flavored gummy candy and hot water. First, add 80 grams of gummy candy to a jar. You'll need a few for the garnish, so don't eat what's left in the bag. Then pour 400 grams of hot water over the gummy candy and mix. You can do this by stirring on your own, or just get it started and let the magnetic stirrer do the rest. As the candy melts, this liquid will get all those cola notes we all know and love in this soft candy. Once fully mixed and chilled to room temperature, I'll just pour into the easy siphon and charge it with a single nitrous oxide cartridge, as we always do when making foams in this handy tool. Shake well and place it in the fridge to chill before use. As for the smoky soda, we'll make that by carbonating 𝗡𝗲𝘄𝗃𝗃𝗃 tea. This is a black tea with leaves that are smoke dried over a pine wood fire, and it really has a rich smoky aroma. Steep half of a gram of 𝗡𝗲𝘄𝗃𝗃 in 250 ml of water that's just below boiling for 4 minutes. I wish you could smell the smoky aroma coming from this through the screen. I'll now strain 200 grams of this tea right into 800 grams of cold water to dilute the strong flavors, but also to chill enough so that we can place it in the fridge or freezer. We want this to get really cold before we carbonate it. As mentioned before, we'll do this using the carbonator. Whatever method you'll use, remember that CO2 has a higher rate of absorption and disbursement in colder liquids, so you always want your sparkling ingredients to be as cold as possible. And that's the smoky soda ready. With these two done, we now have everything needed to make the Jack, Where's the Coke? Start with a highball glass that will garnish with a cola gummy candy. Before you make the cocktail, it will stick on the side of a chilled glass on its own. Now add a tempered clear ice spear, and like the original, we'll build this straight in the glass. starting with 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select Tennessee Whiskey. Again, if you have a gentleman Jack, go with that, and the old number 7 works as well. Next, add 3/4 ounce or 22.5 ml of our DIY Kevin Kola Liqueur. The episode with the instructions for this is linked in the description. For that nice cherry sweetness that pairs so well with Coke, add in 1/2 ounce or 50 ml of syrup from the jar of maraschino cherries. Balance that with 1/4 ounce or 7.5 ml of lemon super juice. Freshly squeezed is fine as well, of course. We'll boost the flavors with 2 drops of 20% saline solution. Then top it up with 100 grams of our Smoky Soda water. Gently mix all the ingredients with a few turns and a lift with a bar spoon before we add the finishing touch, cola foam. Make sure this is cold. Give it a shake, then add a nice even layer on top of the cocktail. Gummy candy cola on top and on the side of the glass. Beautiful. The cola is present throughout foam and the cocktail. The sweetness and acidity from the candy balance the foam perfectly, while the cherry adds a new layer of flavor that pairs well with both the cola and whiskey. Once you try this interesting cocktail, you'll know where the Coke is, on the aroma and the palate. We reached the bottom of the glass of the second Tennessee whiskey cocktail of the day. So today's recommended read is of course connected to whiskey as well, The World Atlas of Whiskey by Dave Broom. It's a comprehensive guide to whiskey, featuring maps, tasting notes, and expert insights on a global scale. Perfect for friends of cocktails that want to expand on their whiskey knowledge, so I'll link it in the description. Another thing that is linked in the description is our Patreon, where you can pick the top tier, become a Wall of Fame member, and have your name added to our set, like Daniel Smith did. Thanks Daniel, and cheers! If you like this transformation of Jack and Coke, you'll also enjoy these elevated caipirinha and Jägerbomb cocktails. Until next week, cheers!